All right, folks, we're going to continue with the program here. Our next speakers, everyone involved in policing is aware that cameras are everywhere, for the good and the bad, and an important integral part of community engagement and working in social media is the use of videos to deliver our message to the communities that we serve. With us now, our next speakers, Zhivonni McDonnell and Lieutenant Chris Cook from the Arlington, Texas Police Force are here to talk to us about their successes with video use in social media. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Howdy. Woohoo! Whoop whoop.
Well, a little bit about us. I've been in law enforcement for 20 years. Arlington smack dab in the middle of Dallas, Fort Worth, Metroplex. Arlington doesn't have all the football, the Dallas Cowboys, obviously the Rangers, Six Flags, everything. Ton of entertainment for the region, which is good. Everybody thinks the Cowboys playing Dallas, no, they're playing Arlington.
And you see that a lot on TV. You'll say Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. It's like, no, we're in Arlington, Texas, smack dab in the middle. So we have a lot of entertainment venues, which we take advantage of when we do social media. We actually do fan experience. We go out to the football games, college games, Texas Ranger games. And we go out there and we start tweeting out pictures of all of our fans from around the country that come out to the games. So we are lucky to have the Dallas Cowboys, Texas Rangers, also Six Flags Over Texas, which is a huge amusement park. So we're lucky enough to have that in our own backyard, and we take advantage of that. So a little bit about our department. We have about 640 sworn officers. We have about 200 professional staff that make up the police department. And our media staffing model, we have 5 people in the media office. We have Lieutenant Cook, who oversees the operation. We have a sergeant. I'm sworn. I'm an officer. And we also have 2 civilian staff members that make up the media office. So we're lucky. We have 5 people in our media office. However, we're very busy with a lot of things, including social media, the traditional media, video programming, all that kind of stuff. So we're actually really busy in the media office.
Yeah, you know, the power of the video, like some speaker told me a little bit ago, it's so important. If you may remember, probably everybody in this room has probably heard of this. About a month and a half ago, we shot a African-American teen who was unarmed in Arlington. And everyone knows the state of policing right now. I don't care if you're in Canada or U.S. There's a lot of spotlight and a lot of scrutiny on use of force actions across the world, really, for that part. And so video really made a difference in that shooting. Now, that's not in our presentation, but it's just so powerful to understand that no matter where you're at, no matter whether you're at the sheriff's department, police department, state police, it doesn't matter. Video can either hurt you or it can help you. And in that case, it really helped us because we were able to utilize video to really tell our story, because other people like Serena Williams, a famous tennis player, were telling an inaccurate story about what happened in Arlington. And so keep that in the back of your mind. And I will also say there is no way that we are very smart at this stuff. So if me and G can put this video stuff together, anybody can do this stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're self-taught, so it's not like we didn't have any type of video background whatsoever. Lieutenant Cook, he's a reader, so he kind of got caught up in all the reading, and actually we self-taught in what we do today.
And so really the Arlington experience, you know, we're only on a few platforms: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Nixle. We just started Nextdoor about a year and a half ago. It's kind of like a Facebook for neighborhoods. But at the end of the day, like I say, we prefer video to really tell a story, because you can tell a large story and you can really reach the masses. And so that's what we really try to do. So let's start getting into this, because we have about an hour. We know that people are visual learners. And so really there's a lot of different things you can do with the video. We always try to reinforce what we're telling, what our story is, with B-roll. And what we mean by that is just something to supplement the story. So if I'm talking about the SWAT team, or I'm interviewing somebody about our SWAT team, then I'll have a lot of imagery about maybe our SWAT vehicle, maybe them getting dressed, something like that, to really supplement it. Corporate identity, we use video to really brand the Arlington Police Department. Our job primarily is public relations and really humanizing our officers. And so if you go to our channel, we don't have a lot of surveillance footage. We don't have a lot of like murder kind of stuff that we're trying to solve on our YouTube. We really talk about branding. Is anybody familiar with the Why I Wear the Badge campaign? It's an initiative the International Association of Chiefs of Police started a while back. That campaign really goes to reinforcing, humanizing your officers, and really building that brand, so to speak, so that because there's so much negativity out there, you got to really tell your story. Real quick, this little video, it's about 45 seconds long.
Visual storytelling is essential for a business to succeed today. For example, a web user, a social media user, if you have video in your message, you are 500% more likely to be interacting and having that video shared than just simply a text message. 75% of communicators are increasing visual storytelling in 2014. Why? Because with visual storytelling, there's more traction, there's more sharing, there's more activity, there's more touch and feel, and you have more brand activation. Finally, 90% of all activation in terms of web interactions is initiated by video today. So the whole world is changing when it comes to video, and our corporate clients are anxious to get ahead of the curve and change with it.
And really the takeaway from that video goes back to everyone's got a cell phone. Everybody's a photographer, a videographer, so to speak. We got a little funny video at the end of our presentation about that. But in reality, man, you can't get away from it. Every time we go on a call, it seems like there's 4 or 5 people that have their cell phones out and they're filming us, and they want to be that next YouTube sensation. And we kind of joke with a few of our officers, we don't want them to be that next YouTube sensation. You probably have a few in your organization that you've seen that. Go ahead, G.
Okay, so tips on how to tell your story. What kind of video do you want? Do you want it to be like a PSA? Do you want it to be some type of humor, surveillance? You need to try to then gauge what type of audience you're trying to show. Who are you trying to reach? A lot of times that when you do video, it reaches a large or broader type of audience because that's it, like it says, it gravitates you to the storytelling. Entertain or inform. Why should I click on this video? It says right here, 20% of online viewers click away in the first 10 seconds. So you actually want to grab them initially. It's just like when I do social media on Facebook. I don't just do normal text. I need a picture to grab you, to gravitate you into our Facebook feed, and that way you want to even see what's more on my page. So 20% of online viewers, you need to try to grab them right away so that way you can get them into your message. Video should communicate a combination of motion and emotion. You'll see some of our videos, we try to show some type of emotion. For Why I Wear the Badge, the videos, it shows a lot of emotion because it's something that we take dear to our heart of why we become a police officer. So sometimes you want to just try to give that type of emotion to show to the public that, you know what, we're human too, and we love what we do, and we do it for you guys.
And viral is not a kind of video. Everybody loves a viral video. Everybody loves a viral Facebook post. But really and truly, the public is in complete control on what happens with that video. There are some videos that we've done, and we think, man, this thing's going to hit 1 million views, and it doesn't. And then there's videos that we do are so silly that we think we're going to get 20 views, and then they hit 1 million. And you just, I mean, it's really out of your control, just like a Facebook post. And so we try not to develop a viral video.
But anything that you can use dogs, that helps.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Dogs
Everybody loves
help.
animals.
Everyone loves dogs.
And so we try to really think as far as what are we trying to say? What are we trying to sell? What are we trying to inform the public? And then we kind of think in terms of shots in order to move our story forward. The last thing there is kind of important. Host and talent should look great. Nobody wants to hurt someone's feelings, but our organization, we got about 700 cops, and we've asked a few of them to do some of our videos, and sometimes you think somebody's going to do great on camera, and they just can't do it. They're either too shy, the camera intimidates them, and it's okay, and you don't have to be rude about it, but you do need to make sure that when you're going to put out a video, the worst thing you could do is to put out that video that they didn't look real good. It's going to really be more offensive to them than if you say, hey, you know what, we'll continue working with you. We'll use you on the next one. Tips on telling your story. Bad audio, poor lighting makes awful video. And so you really got to make sure that your audio is good. You got to make real sure that your lighting's good. There's a picture of one of our detectives there. Obviously, she's a little short, so we put a 12-pack or 24-pack of Coke there to get her up so that we could still film her.
But nobody knows. Nobody knows but us that that's actually happening. Again, humanize your officers. That's something that we do. Like Lieutenant Cook said, we actually are our PR machine for our police department. So we want to go out there and show our audience things that they've never seen before about police officers. So that's our number one goal, is to humanize our officers. Add humor when appropriate. You'll see in one of our videos that we do with a jingle. It's about DWI. You know, it's a very serious issue, but we kind of use a little humor, and it worked because the media has picked it up. So you kind of use humor when it's appropriate. Keep your video short, because when we first started, we did Inside APD. We did a 30-minute show. We thought we were rock stars. Yeah, 30 minutes. And, it was boring. Everyone clicked off of it right away. So now we keep them nice and short, less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch a real long video. And so we typically, when I tell G we're doing a video project, and I'll tell our chief this too, we try to keep them at 3 or 4 minutes. That's about the most somebody can really stomach a video on, especially on like a smartphone device. We'll talk about this later, but the transitions, graphics, animations, there's so many third-party apps, no matter what kind of video platform you're using, that can really make you look like that you're really smart. The chief really thinks that we're this smart, when in reality, we're just buying stuff to use in our stuff.
And it costs only $5. You can get stuff for $15, $5, and it's amazing what it looks like. So you'll see a little bit more.
Scripts versus impromptu. We're kind of impromptu. I wish we had more time to script, but like everybody else in this room, we have 1,000 other things to do. Anything that doesn't have a home at Arlington PD ends up in the media office for some reason. So typically, I don't have time to script. Now, there are some videos that we'll script out, like National Night Out's tomorrow night down in Texas, and so we've scripted that out.
It's actually
we know
tonight.
exactly. Oh, it's tonight.
It's
Yeah,
tonight.
sorry. We've already scripted that out, where we gave them a logical progression of what the shots that we want and the interviews that we want. The chief always wants to know, when he asks me to do a video, how long is it going to take for me to get my finished product? A good rule of thumb, when you kind of get used to it, is 1 hour of editing yields about a minute of post-production. That's just in the editing phase. That's not actually going out and getting your shots, stuff like that. So you can see where time management's real important. So what do we use equipment-wise? We got a couple different things. It looks pretty elaborate, but in reality, it's pretty simple. And we'll kind of talk, I don't know if it'll work in Canada, but I know for those of you that are in the States, we'll kind of show you how to get all this stuff for free. None of this equipment cost Arlington Police Department any money. There's so many free things out there to get. Go ahead, G, if you'll walk them through that.
Okay, at the top left, that is an Avid machine that our city uses. We don't use it because we are not that we're not that savvy on production. We have a GoPro. We have our Sony camcorder right there. That Sony, it's probably about a $10,000 camera. It's very heavy. It's very bulky. A lot of times, if we're going to keep it in our studio, or if we're going to do something really that we need really excellent video, we'll take that out in the field. It's just very bulky. A lot of times we just use our camera, our DSLRs. I usually use my Canon 60D. That's what I use to take pictures. That's what I use to take video, and it works very well with the production that we use. We use Final Cut Pro, which costs about $300 that we use. We also have our microphones. We also have lighting equipment, and this is kind of our backdrop right here. That backdrop that we use for all of our press conferences and stuff like that. It's a non-glare type of backdrop, so we can use it whenever, so that way there's no glare on the TV. We also have curtains. If you see the little curtains right there, kind of like a doctor's office where you roll it and it goes around the corner. That's really, really cool, because when you want that corner shot, you want that wide shot, you can get a nice full shot of it with you don't see any type of walls or anything like that. So we have different color curtains.
Yeah, and if you notice, she's from Jersey. That's why she said curtains like that. But they're actually curtains for the rest of us. And you know what's great about all this stuff? They're pretty simple to pull off a good shot. The green screen, obviously, the chief loves that, because I can put the chief up there, film him, and then I can insert the Dallas Cowboy Stadium behind him or wherever. And so really and truly, all of this stuff, it comes down to, you just need some basic equipment. You need to make sure you have some lighting. You need to make sure you have some audio. We're even going to show you that we actually use our iPhone 6 for a lot of our videos, because in reality, I don't have a lot of time to get all this equipment out. And sometimes the action's occurring in the field. So we'll just do mobile video on the go, kind of run and go with that kind of stuff.
Spur
and
of
so
the
that's in
moment.
our presentation as well. So real quick, I don't know if this works in Canada or not, but I want to throw this out there because I think we have 15 or 16 people from the U.S. The way we get all of our stuff in the United States, everybody that has a local government cable channel, it's called PEG. I think it's Public Education Government Channel. And so everybody pays a franchise fee. And so you can use this money. Get with me after the presentation. I'll explain how to do it. But as long as you're creating content for that local government cable channel that nobody watches, you can access those kinds of funds to buy your equipment. So real quick, how do we do this? Well, we have an equipment bag. We always want to make sure our battery's charged. This is kind of self-explanatory stuff, but you won't, a lot of times we've been out there and I'm like, gee, where's the memory card? And we're like 40 miles away and she's like, oh, forgot to grab it. Or usually it's me that forgot to grab it. And so you just want to kind of have you a checklist and make sure that you have your stuff that you're going to need to really make a good presentation. Number 9, real important, teleprompter. iPads make an excellent teleprompter. So you don't have to buy a $10,000 teleprompter. Our chief loves it. I'm able to script his video out, put the teleprompter there. He just reads off it. It looks like he's got it memorized, and everything's good to go. We're going to skip some of this because we got a little
Hi, welcome to our top 10 tips for creating your corporate video. We know there's lots to consider when putting your video together, but our experience has taught us that these are the 10 most important things. Get these right and your audience will be glued to the screen. Your eyes are wonderful. They can adapt to all sorts of lighting conditions, from a bright sunny day through to a dimly lit office in the middle of winter. But video is not quite so flexible, and most office lighting is not designed to look good on video. Bad lighting will present the wrong image for your business. Creative lighting can be used to add drama to your message. Good lighting will make you and your business look professional. Someone, and I don't know who, once said that an audience will never notice good sound quality in a movie, but they'll certainly notice bad sound quality. Bad quality sound like this detracts from your message. Your audience will focus on trying to hear what's being said, and they'll miss the whole point of your video. So let's restore the sound quality like this and say it again. Make sure your sound quality is up to standard. In general, you're not trying to produce a fashion show for your video, so the clothes you wear should be appropriate to your business. If you would normally wear a suit to see a client, then that's probably what you should wear for your video. If you would normally wear a shirt like this one, and I possibly would to see some of my clients, then that's absolutely fine. But what you have to remember is your video is going to date much more quickly. In general, keep it simple. Plain clothes always work best and will not go out of fashion. Plan what you're going to say. Don't use jargon or buzzwords unless you're absolutely sure that your audience will understand them. Write yourself a script, or if you can't write one, get someone to do it for you. Nobody wants to listen to you making it up as you go along, and if you and ah too much, your audience will stop listening. A good script will keep you on track, and it will get your message across in the shortest possible time, which leads me nicely into the next tip.
And then we'll send a link to the Lori on this. It's a little bit longer video, but in reality, you know, that's for corporate, but really and truly, I would argue our organizations are corporate as well. And we have to present the best possible image. Everyone's seen police videos out there probably that maybe did good, maybe they didn't, I don't know. And you're like, wow, that was kind of crappy how it was put together. And so if you just take a little bit of time, even if you're using your iPhone, we're going to teach you how you can plug a microphone in an iPhone and make it work. All of our microphones work on the iPhone as well, or Android platform. And so you can really pull off that great sound quality and that great lighting. So getting into some of our video examples, just want to show you, we use Apple. There's obviously lots of different editing platforms out there. If you're stuck on a Windows platform, we just prefer the Apple platform. So we're using Final Cut Pro. This is an example of just some surveillance footage that G put together, and she added a few little special effects and scrolling bar to kind of enhance it. So these are little transitions that are built in. I think she was putting this out because we had a suspect that did something, obviously. Put a little ticker bar on the bottom, asking for the public's help to kind of find this guy. And we always ask you can make little transparent images. We'll teach you in a little bit. Add that on the back of your video. And then we try to end our videos with the same ending.
That goes back to branding our agency. We always use that as a good thing.
That thing right there is like $5. You pay. There's a template you can buy for $5, and you can implant your social media icons and then put them on your iPhone, put them in your stuff. DWI jingle, you want to explain that one?
Yeah, this is what I was talking about using humor when it's appropriate. We thought we were just at a Christmas party, and we're just like, hey, let's come up with a jingle. Let's come up with something snazzy. So we all put our heads together, and we kind of came up with some words to the Christmas song. And then we asked our motor docs to help us out. And this is all done in different camera angles. We use Final Cut Pro.
We know when you've been drinking. We know if
Yeah.
I will tell you, these guys were mad having to wear those little antlers. I had to order them to wear them.
Actually, we took them to lunch.
Oh, you better not drink. You better not drive. Better watch out, I'm telling you why. APD is out on the town.
Again, we used a little bit of humor. The media picked it up. It got lots of coverage. It was very easy. Unfortunately, it was done at a really bad day. It was kind of overcasted. It was very windy, so it was like really wasn't a nice day to actually do the filming. But we got our point across, and we got something that was very serious. People enjoyed it.
Next one is just spur of the moment. This is when you're out there and you see an officer doing something, you're like, wow, that would probably be a pretty good video. And these things go pretty viral real fast.
Really quickly.
This guy doesn't really, obviously, don't critique his piano playing if you play piano in here, but it was more of just spur of the moment. Shows you what you can do with an iPhone. Gigi was able to put the title bar there.
We put in iMovie on our iPhone, and then we quickly uploaded it.
So you get the point. So she put it in iMovie, uploaded it to YouTube, and then Facebook, and tweeted that link out. Another one, State Farm. I don't know if State Farm's in Canada, but if you're in the U.S., State Farm gives out grants like they're going out of style. Every year, State Farm gives us around $5,000, and we can use that money to buy video equipment. All they ask in return is to create one safety video a year. So if you're in the States, I know it's not just Texas because we teach all over the country. And I have people from Seattle, Washington to Washington, D.C. say, hey, thanks, that was a good tip, and State Farm gave me money too.
Yeah, the hint about that is they like stuff for you to do about either teen drinking and driving, teen texting. So when you actually apply for it, make sure you put some type of teen-related type of video that you want to create.
Again, this intro was made using Final Cut Pro. We just added some photos there. Put a little transparent image at the top.
I don't think I drank that much. I maybe had like.
We had multiple camera angles.
A lot. That's how you're.
Me and G were in the back seat using a Canon DSLR.
The 675. I'm behind a possible.
This was
DWI
just a
driver,
tripod-mounted camera
Volkswagen.
here.
I'm gonna try and stop him here in 700 block of
Inside the vehicle.
We also used the GoPro, and you'll see that in a minute.
He's coming? Yeah.
That's the GoPro. G likes to change the camera angle up, so she just threw her camera on the ground right there. And so you get the point. I mean, you just incorporate a lot of different camera angles using DSLR, using iPhone, using our Sony XD cam, using our GoPro. The more footage, the better. Because when I'm putting it together, or G's putting it together, it's okay to have more footage. What really stinks is when you get there and you're like, oh, wow, we left something out, and you can't go back and recreate that weather, which means your white balance is going to be off. You can't recreate some of that stuff. So even National Night Out, we're not in Texas, but I told our videographer tonight, I said, get me as much stuff as you can because I'm going to be the one putting the video together.
Yep.
Little example of time lapse. We love time lapse, and you can do this on the iPhone. We use a little slider bar.
There's the Texas Rangers.
A slider bar just allows you to put your camera and it just slowly turns. And really, these are just photographs, but it looks like video. All my iPhone is doing is just taking photograph, 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 photograph. Literally thousands of photographs. And then I put it together into time lapse. Because time lapse, you can use that in Final Cut Pro. You can also use it in Adobe Premiere. And it makes a really good video, and not only will your police department be proud of it, but your elected officials, your Convention Visitor Bureau, because you're touting the city. What we're trying to send in this message is Arlington PD is friendly. We want you to come spend your tax dollars here. That's kind of, it sounds goofy, but that's kind of what we're trying to portray in this type of video here. Again, all of this is just photographs. Just makes it look like video. University of Texas at Arlington. Six Flags Over Texas.
I'm sure you guys want to come visit us, right? Isn't it beautiful? Arlington is great.
Next video, we won't play the whole thing, but obviously I'm sure that everyone in this room, you probably have fallen officers over the years, and so we try to commemorate like you do every single year. And so this video we put together to really commemorate the Dallas Cowboys allowed us, they hosted what's called First Responder Appreciation Day. And so they invited, you know, literally hundreds of police officers to be honored during halftime. And so this is what this video,
Yeah,
if you'll just pay attention.
For the past 2 years, they invited us to be a part of this big celebration.
If you'll pay attention to some of the camera angles, that's kind of why we put it in here.
Officer Jillian Smith, badge number 2650, answered her
So we're
last
just using
call
some
at
photographs
7:28
here,
in 2010
using what's called a
after
Ken
year of
Burns
dedicated
effect,
service to the Department and citizens of Arlington.
which moves the photos in and out.
You will never be forgotten. May you rest in peace. Station 3 is clear.
You know, they're always too young. Every single time. Jillian
We used
was
a
no different in that
peak
regard, but where she
spray
was very
light,
different
which sounds weird. Why would you put peak
was
behind your chief?
in how
Just
she
to give
died.
it that different feel,
Not
that
the
different
fact that
look.
she was shot because others had been shot, but what she was doing in her final minutes saved the life of a child. I think it speaks volumes.
It started at an early age. So she was in 6th grade. I mean, she always wanted to be a police officer. I mean, that was her dream.
Jillian was shot to death on a domestic disturbance while she was shielding a young child.
Every day, I think of everything she did and everything she wanted to do, even for the short time that she did it.
Craig Story was the kind of officer that always had a smile on him.
He was a
And so
motor
for that
officer, and
infectious
he was
smile and
actually got
for his
to,
work
he
ethic and the
tried
things
to
that he
overtake
did
a speeder.
to be cut
He
short,
got
it
into an
was
accident.
just
He
tragic.
was killed in line of
Craig
duty.
loved what he did. He was a police officer for 9 years.
If you didn't hear G,
And this
Craig
was his
Story
life.
was killed in a
It
motorcycle
hurts forever.
accident.
There's no way you ever get over it. But I knew that he was doing something that he loved.
True character of a person is defined when they do things when people aren't
They
looking.
also honored our firefighter who was killed in
Don
line of
was one of
duty.
those guys.
Yeah,
He contracted the MRSA virus from one of their patients.
You
And
see all the
before
different
anyone
camera
knew
angles we used.
What happened, his organs were shutting down and he was gone.
After his death, we
you'll
found
see a
out
lot more once
that
it
he
starts
had
picking
helped
up. You'll see a
many
lot of the
citizens in
camera angles that we
community,
use when we're on the
who-
field with the first responders.
who had suffered through bad things, fixing doors and windows for people who were less fortunate, taking them food.
And even the music
when he
that
got
we
off from
chose
work,
is
things
to
like
add
that.
to that dramatic feel. That
without
this is
telling
very
anybody.
solemn. This is very
He was
important.
a service
Again, this used
provider
emotion, like we talked before,
on and off
kind of built
duty.
through emotion.
I mean, he lived to serve people. That was him.
I've always been told if I could be half of a person that he was, I'd be doing great. He was a hero to me just by always being there, and then how many lives he saved.
Don couldn't have been a better person, but that also makes the loss of him tougher.
In certain situations, that sacrifice is made because we're giving of ourselves to help our community and to help other people. And I think the public knows that.
You want the sacrifice to mean something. You want their commitment and what they did for the community, what they did for our country, to matter.
So here's where we changed it up.
Cowboys fans, tonight we honor our first responders and especially those fallen in the line of duty. The Dallas Cowboys request that you honor these families who are here tonight.
Lots of B-roll.
It's very special that we're here and that the Cowboys are recognizing
Little
us.
sidebar interviews.
And making this special day for us.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome to see so
She's
many
with
of my
Dallas
brothers and
Police
sisters,
Department.
firefighters as well as police officers.
We had about 60
I mean,
agencies
all in one
participating.
room. It is awesome.
Especially with the Border Patrol being a nationwide agency. It was important for us to be here and represent.
My grandfather was a first responder. I had a lot of mentors growing up that were first responders, and it was always, yeah, every little kid wants to do that, and it fell into something that I could do and I'm good at and I enjoy it. Officers, for as long as there's been officers, have always, fought the battle out there, and we need to recognize those officers that have fallen and not forget the sacrifice they made.
So then we have the dramatic. Everybody walking on the field. Change the music level up.
Different angle from the top view.
Absolutely the most marvelous halftime I've ever seen.
She's not drunk, I
I
promise.
feel when I see them, each one of them have done something to better this world.
We love what they do for our country. We're very proud of them. We're so thankful.
Arlington has always been one to support their first responders.
So you get the point. And so we had plenty of interviews. We had more interviews than we could use. And when you piece something like that together, it really tells that story. Now, this one was scripted. It would have probably been difficult to go impromptu on something like that. We would have probably missed something. And so we just had a lot of different camera angles, a lot of different interviews. Even when I'm interviewing the chief, we'll show you a little trick. If my tripod is right here and the chief is sitting where that projector's at, and I'm interviewing the whole time, then I can keep my tripod here and then just zoom in, and it appears as if I got a different camera angle, a close-up. And so there's a lot of different tricks, and we'll provide a handout when we get done that has all this stuff in it. So real quick, how do you make the chief think that you're really smart? There's all these websites that we utilize. Apple Motion is a program, obviously Adobe After Effects, because it's really your preference. I know Adobe Premiere is really popular. We've just never tried it, but if you're using Premiere, After Effects is a natural progression to use some of your motion effects. You could hire a professional. We only charge, what, $500 an hour, G? So give us a call. We'll create your video. Just kidding. Fiverr, Intro Maker, Splashio, Intro Champ, all of those, you don't have to write them down. Like I say, there's a handout with a lot of the stuff in it. All of that stuff will really allow you to buy little transitions. And what we mean by transitions and intros is that it's like a template where you can put a photograph or you can put a video, and it really spices it up.
We have examples if you want to go forward.
Additional plugins, Motion VFX, we use quite a bit. Animoto, stuff like that. Let me show you some of the examples. So here is an intro and outro. We have a little traffic tip sheet. And so that's as simple as that. That might be like $1 or $2, and then you can customize your text in that.
Then we can use that every Tuesday.
A little puzzle. And like G said a second ago, if you couldn't hear, when you buy these, you can reuse them and reuse them. So once you have the rights to them, you can change it up. And so this was an Adobe After Effects plugin. I think this cost about $3 or $4, and we made a little puzzle plugin and just inserted our patch and put our text. Again, you just insert some images on that. That came from Flixpress, Flixpress. They have a lot of cool ones that you can utilize. Everybody knows about Tweet-along. Lori's been on a lot of global Tweet-alongs, Tweet-a-thons, stuff like that. The good thing about these intros and outros, once you create them in Final Cut Pro or wherever you're creating them, you can actually put them on your phone. And so when you're out there filming with your mobile phone device, you put it into iMovie or what other video app that you're using on your mobile phone, and it appears as if you did it on the laptop or
You
a
add the
desktop.
beginning, you add the video that you created out in the field, and then you add that bookend, the join our conversation 24/7, 365. You render it, you upload it to YouTube, tweet it out. It's just like that. Very, very simple.
This next one is an Adobe After Effects again. And just because you're using Apple, you can still use Adobe After Effects if you're familiar with it. It was bought off of Fiverr for about $3, and I'll show you kind of what it does.
Hey, Twitter cops.
That's us.
What are you doing?
Doing what we do best. Go Cowboys.
So the plug-in lets that come forward. This actually played on the big jumbotron at Jerry's World down there with the Dallas Cowboys. And so you can see where you spend $2 or $3. Again, it doesn't cost the organization any money because we're using that PEG money. And there's just a lot of different intros. This is a Motion VFX. They have literally probably 1,000 different templates because this would be really hard to custom create. And so we just buy these little templates.
The men and women of the Arlington Police Department wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Go Cowboys!
Meli Kalikimaka and Haoli.
And so what you're able to do with those templates is we're able to import that footage and all that good stuff. I don't remember which this one is. Do you remember? Oh, okay.
This is last year's. What we did was we actually, when we teach across the country, we ask other agencies, hey, if you want to be part of this cross-country Christmas holiday jingle, just send us about a 10-second clip and we'll post it all. We'll create this big video and then you can transfer it out to all your partners. It gets a lot of action. This is one of our recruiting videos. This costs about what, like maybe $8?
You just add the music and you're in business and plug your photos.
Actually, it came with the music. All we did was just add the wording. That's it. And then what we did was we took that template, created our own, and then we added photos. And we put it into Final Cut Pro. We just added photos to it to show our police department.
Very easy to do, very easy to do. This is our Inside APD intro. Again, this is a little template we bought to put it together. We do a monthly show where we kind of humanize our officers and stuff like that. There's so many different things. For example, you can change the imagery up to where you have 4 camera angles coming in
Sergeant
at one time.
Jeff Rogers. The reason we're here is every 2 years.
That's a custom title bar that we bought.
Building or a residential area or in a wooded
It
area,
allows you to do
and
picture-in-picture.
also
We put a
car chases,
GoPro
cutting
camera on the
progress,
K9.
all this stuff like that.
Okay.
And as he
There's
gets
the
closer to
GoPro
where a bad
footage.
guy is, then he switches to
Do not watch this
the
if you've
scent
been
in the
drinking.
air.
The media
And what
love
we try to
this.
do
They
is we try to
love the
put the
GoPro on the
dog
dog.
downwind of where we think a bad guy is going to be, and just go across the area and wait for the dog to turn into the wind and then lead us to the bad guy.
Little transition to move from story to story. So real quick, let's get into editing. So how do we put all this together? Again, we talked about Final Cut Pro as our primary platform. Basically, once you shoot the footage, you just got to figure out a way to import it, no matter what your camera. And no matter what platform you're using, there's going to be different plugins you may have to buy. We just bought a new Canon XF105, which is kind of the new standard for 4K video. And so we bought that, so I had to buy another little plug-in to get it into Final Cut Pro. Once you get it in there, editing, really that's the fun part. That's kind of the magic behind it. And that's probably why me and G really enjoy it, because you can do so many different things once you're behind the computer and putting those special transitions or those templates in there. And then you just export it. Once you export it, we put it on YouTube, we copy the link, and then we put it, we cross-promote that video across all of our platforms. Let me go back one. Lynda.com is a really good tutorial if you haven't heard of it. It's not a porno site, I promise. Lynda.com, you pay a monthly subscription fee, and you can learn anything. You can learn Photoshop, you can learn whatever you're wanting to do. And so that's kind of what I used to learn. Video Maker magazine, it's about $20 a year for 12 issues. Government videos, around $12 a year. That's all good stuff to really subscribe to.
And Final Cut Pro is about $300, and plus you can put that on 5 devices. So that's what we like, is because we have our Macs, which we got through the PEG money for free. We got these big Macs, and then we're able to load Final Cut Pro on each of our computers.
I'm going to let G take this because this is kind of her
Mobile
world here.
video on the go, yes. There's lots of cool gadgets. I'm not sure, did we bring any of them? We'll bring them tomorrow during the workshop, some of our little gadgets that we use for our iPhone. My iPhone is on my hip everywhere I go, everywhere. You'll see me with my phone. That's funny because I'll go out in the field and the officers are like, yep, there's your camera. I said, yep, you'll never know where I'm at. So I bring my camera. That's my main thing is my iPhone. But we also have some other devices where we have you can put the microphone on it. You can also put some lighting equipment. You also have the selfie stick that we use sometimes when we do our tweet-alongs. So we use a lot of those little gadgets to make the magic come to life. And a lot of times what I do is I will actually film him. If he's doing a statement out in the field to the media, big incident happens, I will actually stand right in the middle of all the cameras and I'll just film him with my iPhone. And a lot of the media already know what I do, so they kind of they know that I'm going to stand right in the middle because I want the best shot. And I'll videotape the entire segment of what he's talking, and then I'll put it in iMovie, put the little the texting on the bottom of his name and his rank, and then I'll upload it right away to YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. So mobile video on the go, there's a lot you can do instantly.
Just
this
like
one right here,
Scott has the Sennheiser mic up here that he's using. Any of your professional mics for your iPhone or an Android, you can buy an XLR adapter and you plug into your headphone jack, that little bottom left picture there. And then once you do that, you can use all your professional mics that you use for your big, powerful broadcast quality cameras. And so just because it's made for a different kind of camera, you can use it on your smartphone device as well.
Go to the next one.
Yep.
This next one was basically we were out in the field, we were at a picnic, and Lieutenant Cook just took his iPhone and just started to videotape what was going on. That was me and Tracy Knight from Fort Worth. We're at a picnic, and he's like, "Hey, that's gonna look really cool." So all that video is on this iPhone.
And what's nice is you're able to put that video into your iMovie on your phone. We didn't have to go to the office for that. I was able to put those title bars in the field and push that out there. And that's a video that is typically going to go viral. I mean, everybody liked that. It got a lot of views on that kind of stuff. And so it's really easy to do on the mobile device because that's really where it's all at. I mean, we have all those fancy pieces of equipment and stuff. I don't carry it with me all the time. And so a lot of times we're at lunch and there's a bank robbery and then we've shot somebody. We had an officer involved shooting the other day where we shot a bank robber. 3 officers were involved in the shooting. He was shooting at us. I didn't have time to go get the equipment. So what do? We have our smartphones. We'll go out there, get our footage that we need from the iPhone. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this because Lori has graciously given us some workshops to talk about the mobile apps. But I do invite you to come. I think it's tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow. Is it tomorrow at 1, I believe?
And so we have a whole separate presentation for mobile apps and must-haves on how to film and how to do some of the
We're going to go through all these little apps right here, and we actually had them on video. It's going to show you step by step on how to use these apps to benefit what you want, the picture that you want, or the intro that you want to put on your social media platform. So I highly encourage you guys to come on out and visit with us tomorrow. This is on the go. This is an example of the presser.
We received multiple
I'm right in the center.
calls about shots being fired in the 1100 block of Silverwood at an apartment complex.
I want to videotape his entire segment so that way our message is out there.
So these are all mobile video on the go where we shot on the iPhone. At around 10 p.m., we were dispatched to a major crash.
With iMovie, we take our B-roll, we'll put that in. We'll also do the voiceovers. We can put pictures in there.
And then struck a tree in the center median. The driver was not hurt in the crash. The vehicle had to be removed by a wrecker. You know, that stuff's goofy. I know you're probably wondering, what in the world? Why would you even put that up there? But, man, the public loves that kind of stuff. When you're on a tweet-along, it's just a virtual ride-along, as you know. We'll take some B-roll footage. The public loves. I mean, a video like that will get 1,000 views, and you're like, wow, I would never watch anything like that. But they like that sort of stuff. This is another little template where you put the words in. It'll create your logo, your patch, whatever you want, your badge. This is all done on the iPhone. This week's traffic tip is designed to keep time. That is having car trouble and breaking down on a freeway. We just use some stock to the right side of the road, out of the flow of traffic if possible. Stopping on the left side of a divided. You get the point. I don't know if YouTube's going to work in here. The internet connection is really slow.
This was time lapse. This was during the Country Music Awards that we had in Arlington at the Dallas Cowboy Stadium. I don't know if it's going to work.
No, it's not going to work.
Okay.
That's all right.
It was a time-lapse video that we shot when we were up in the suite. This was, I'm not sure what this one is.
So what do you want to get from all this? I think at the end of the day, you want your public that are like, wow, you did a great job. I learned something new that I didn't know. For example, when we do our Inside APD, we always try to pick a topic that will inform the public. You know, the big example down in Texas right now is the militarization of police. Boy, they think that everybody's buying these freaking tanks, and the U.S. government is giving us all their battle equipment from Iraq or Afghanistan to really go and raid citizens' homes in Arlington or something. And so that's the furthest from the truth. And so what we did is we decided, you know what? We're going to do an episode where we're going to really talk about what our SWAT team's about. Why do they wear different uniforms? Why do they look different? Why do they need this? Why do we do explosive breaching? And when you can really tell that story and you can inform and educate the public, they're less likely to really come after you or talk bad about you. And so at the end of the day, we love all the return on investment. My chief will usually gauge return on investment on relationships. Those are hard to really have performance metrics. Typically, we report out on the number of YouTube views and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when we can talk about the relationships, we can talk about all that kind of stuff, we're really doing a great job, and the chief's pretty happy. So go ahead, G.
Anyone seen this video before? No? Okay. This is what we end. So if you haven't learned anything today, learn about the vertical video syndrome. This is hysterical.
Apologize for those of you that saw it.
This video didn't have to look this way. It could have been prevented. Say no to vertical videos.
Vertical videos happen when you hold your camera the wrong way. Your video will end up looking like crap.
There are more and more people addicted to making vertical videos every day. It's not crack or nothing, but it's still really bad. There are two different kinds of people who are afflicted with VVS. The first group treats the videos they shoot like pictures. They don't mean any harm. They just don't understand that while you can turn a picture, you can't really turn a video.
The other group is people who don't give a
Vertical video syndrome is dangerous. Motion pictures have always been horizontal. Televisions are horizontal. Computer screens are horizontal. People's eyes are horizontal. We aren't built to watch vertical videos.
I love vertical videos. Nobody cares about you.
If this problem's left unchecked, YouTube will begin showing 4 videos at once just to save bandwidth.
Letterboxed vertical videos would be the size of a postage stamp.
And it will spread everywhere. Movie screens have always been horizontal. If vertical videos become accepted, movie theaters will have to be tall and skinny.
And all the movie theaters would have to get torn down and rebuilt. And by the time they were rebuilt, Mina Coolidge would be old and ugly.
And birds will crash into them and die.
And we will all get stiff necks from looking up.
And no one will sit in the front row ever again.
And George Lucas will re-release Star Wars again. The skinny edition.
I was never really able to tell the story that I wanted to tell. This is a great chance for me to experiment with a new technology.
You're a jerk.
Every time a mobile device is used to record video, the temptation is there. Just say no. Say no to George Lucas. Say no to old Mila Kunis. Say no to vertical videos.
And if you see someone doing it, say, "You're not shooting that right, dummy!"
And so, you know, you'll find once you watch that video, when you are at home with your spouse and they're shooting video of your kids or whatever, you'll find yourself saying, "Honey, don't hold the camera like that." And so there's a lot of truth to that. You see a lot of the videos, even the ones that have the viral status, that go out that are shot the wrong way. And so if you don't remember anything that we said from Texas, make sure you hold your camera the right way. Lori, we can either take questions, or if that's not appropriate, we can wait. Okay. Is there any questions at all? I know this is very brief, but we're here throughout Friday until we leave Friday morning. And so certainly we can get with you after the break. We've brought all of our video equipment and our editing equipment. We can walk through, and I know we have a work session. Any questions real quick? Yes, sir. What program for the presentation? This is Prezi. Prezi, P-R-E-Z-I. Yeah. Anybody else? Any questions about the presentation or anything? Yes, sir. No Periscope. I know a lot of agencies doing it. We haven't looked at it. I don't know if you saw a report just the other day. Instagram now has surpassed Twitter on the number of followers. So our chief has given us the evil eye. We're kind of to the point we don't want any more because we're really busy. But it looks like we're probably headed down the Instagram route. He has not asked about Periscope yet.
Yeah, I think that's a little new still, so we want everyone else to kind of get their feet wet with it before we actually jump into something like that.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
And I guess
no.
it won't be us. Periscope's got to be vertical. Yeah, I would say we're probably posting 4 a month, so 1 a week, if that. I think as long as you're telling your story, I told G, once Inside APD doesn't net more than 100 views, I'm not doing it no more. And we haven't ever hit that. We typically, our episodes will view anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000, just depends on the episode. Like K9, like G said, if people love dogs and stuff like that, they love our K9 interactions. Those things will hit 10,000 views when we put a video up about them.
Plus, too, we also put it on our cable network channel, so we don't know how many views that gets. So we get those, we get the PEG money, so we need to provide constant programming to the cable network.
What else? Nobody? All right, we appreciate your time. Feel free to grab us, like I said, on any of the breaks or in the evening session, and we will be glad to help you guys out. Thanks so much.
Thank you.